What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Oftentimes, I feel like we tend to forget how much money NBA players make nowadays. There are now NBA players like James Harden and Steph Curry making over $44 and $45 million per year, and while that is without a doubt a crazy amount of money to be making, perhaps what is even more hard to believe is how much money some former NBA players are still being paid without even having to play. And some of which have not even played in the NBA for half a decade now or longer. In fact, you may have already forgotten about a few of the players included in here, as they really have not been playing for a while now. But without further ado, let's get into former player number 1 that is still getting paid, and we'll begin with every Laker fan's favorite player, with that being Luol Deng. A lot of you are probably aware of this one already if you keep up with my Laker content on my main channel, but Luol Deng will continue to collect a check from the Lakers throughout the 2021-22 NBA season, which means that he will have been getting paid by them even though he has not played a game for them in 5 years now. In fact, the last game that he even played in at all was way back in 2019. And what is even funnier about him still getting paid by the Lakers is with him actually being younger than both LeBron and Carmelo Anthony, who are both contributing at a high level for their team right now. But now moving on to player number 2 that is still getting paid, where we have Larry Sanders, and if you have already forgotten about him, I cannot say I entirely blame you. He has not played in the NBA for 5 years now, despite only being 33 years old, and the contract that he is still getting paid for dates all the way back to 2013. After averaging 2.8 block shots for them that year, and really looking like an up-and-coming player, the Milwaukee Bucks gave him a 4-year, $44 million contract, and at that time, many people even agreed with them doing that. However, it quickly proved to be a very bad choice, because unfortunately, Sanders began dealing with a lot of both on-the-court and off-the-court issues after getting that contract. On the court, he began developing a reputation as a hothead, and even as a dirty player, he got into multiple on-the-court altercations between 2013 and 2015, and he even got suspended for 1 game because of it. But what really troubled him was off-the-court issues. He was repeatedly suspended for drug violations related to marijuana, and it plagued him throughout the rest of his NBA career. And then the nail in the coffin for his time in Milwaukee and pretty much his NBA career was getting into a fight at a club in 2015 where he not only ended up tearing a ligament in his finger, but he damaged his reputation even further. And because of that, Milwaukee ended up waiving him via contract buyout and elected to pay him $2 million per year up until 2022, and that is why he is still getting paid today. But now moving on to player number 3 that is still getting paid, where we have Kevin Garnett. Garnett will be getting paid $5 million by the Celtics not only this year, but up until next year too. He agreed to take the $35 million that they owed him at the time of his retirement over a 7-year duration, which will effectively allow him to get paid by them for a decade after he played his final game for them. And although that sounds bad, at the very least, he did help them win a championship, unlike other players on here. And speaking of players like that, player number 4 that is still getting paid happens to be Timofey Mozgov, another Laker legend. He has not appeared in an NBA game since 2018. However, he will collect a $5 million check this year from the Orlando Magic, even though he never played a game for them. Following being signed to a 4-year, $64 million contract by the Lakers, every team that he played for tried to get rid of him. The Lakers had to give up D'Angelo Russell with him to get rid of his contract, and then the Brooklyn Nets had to give up a first-round pick to get rid of that contract too. But somehow, someway, the man who gave him that contract, Mitch Kupchak, still has a job in the NBA today as a general manager, which might be more surprising than Timofey Mozgov getting paid yet. But now moving on to our 5th and final player that is still getting paid, which happens to be Monte Ellis. Another player who has not played in half a decade now. Ellis will be collecting a $2 million check from Indiana to not play this year. Way back in 2015, they elected to give him a 4-year, $44 million contract, and well, they quickly regretted it. After playing only 2 years into that contract, they elected to use the stretch provision to get rid of him. which, if you did not know, the stretch provision allows the team to waive a player and pay them less money than what they initially owed them, but they have to pay them over a longer duration. And that is why we have Monte Ellis getting paid into 2022, but hey, at the very least, he tried to make an NBA comeback only about a month ago. Meanwhile, Timofey Mozgov and Luol Deng are probably on the couch right now. But with that will do it for the 5 NBA players who are still getting paid in 2021 and into 2022 without even having to play. And before you comment about other NBA players like Joakim Noah and Chris Bosh getting paid yet too, I do know about that, but I thought that these 5 were a little bit harder to believe. Chris Bosh had to retire due to health problems, and while Joakim Noah's contract was pretty bad too, at the very least he did play for most of it. But let me know your thoughts here. Did you know that these NBA players were getting paid yet? And if you did not, which one caught you off guard the most? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. And if you have not already, be sure to join the official Discord for the channel. I'll have it linked both on the screen and in the video description. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to everyone who took the time to watch until the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.